Hey everybody, Mr. Perry here with episode 3 of your virtual Cardinal Connections. Let's start with our American pledge led by Caitlin Wallace.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now the Texas pledge. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Before we move into our moment of silence, I want to share a little bit about Friday's date. As you drive around, you may notice that the flags are going to be at half staff. This is in remembrance of September 11th, 2001, a date well before you were born. On September 11th, a great tragedy occurred in America where many people lost their lives. It was a very sad time for our country, but what we want to remember is not just the sadness, but the perseverance of the American people. We want to remember the many helpers, the firemen, police officers, emergency first responders, doctors, nurses, and others who chose to help those in need. In fact, I am reminded of a famous personality from my childhood. Mr. Rogers once said, "When I was a boy and would see scary things on the news, my mother would remind me to look for the helpers. You will always find people helping." So, on Friday, September 11th, I want you to remember those who dedicate themselves to helping and those in the military who keep us safe. Now, please join me in a moment of silence for those who were affected by the September 11th tragedy. And now for our Life Little Profile lesson led by Aaliyah Cook.
Whenever you are ready to lead, you are able to clearly communicate your message. Your message will be well received and understood, listening to others with their eyes and ears. By making eye contact and responding to what others say helps you to be a good communicator. By doing these things, you are using the life leader attribute, effective communicator. Repeat after me. I will be able to be an effective communicator by communicating clearly. Here's our way that you can do that. By making eye contact with someone speaking to you, by speaking up when it matters, by listening to with my eyes and ears, by making sure that audience received what was said.
Thank you so much, Aaliyah and Caitlin. And now it's time for shout-outs. Miss Lau shout-outs. Haley Mitchell, you're being shout-out for being respectful. Elijah James, you're being shout-out for being respectful. Eder Alvarez, you're being shout-out for being respectful. Caitlin Wallace, you're being shouted out for being positive. Mr. Perry is being shouted out for demonstrating all church values. Thank you, Miss Lau. Ms. Klesmer is being shouted out for demonstrating all church values. And Ms. Bloss is being shouted out for demonstrating all church values. Ms. Klesmer shout-outs. Micah Mosley, you are being shouted out for demonstrating all church values. Hunter Mitchell, you're being shouted out for demonstrating all church values. Jay Perez, you're being shouted out for demonstrating all church values. Daniel Rotana, all church values. Zoe Brody, all church values. Zachary Brody, all church values. And their parent, Isabel Brody, you have been shouted out by Ms. Klesmer for demonstrating all church values. Great job. And now for student shout-outs. Mia is shouting out Ms. Lau for being caring and helpful. Julian is also shouting out Ms. Lau for demonstrating all church values. Alyssa Tu and Mariah Murray are shouting out second grade Mr. Rosa and Ms. Jones for demonstrating all church values. Nathan is shouting out Ms. Klesmer for being helpful. Peyton Sterling is shouting out Mr. Rosa for being helpful and positive. And Miss Smith and Peyton is also shouting out Miss Jones for demonstrating all church values. Great job, you guys. Remember to keep going down below in the description to fill out the positive office referrals, and you'll get shouted out next week on the next Cardinal Connection. Now, for some of you, you will be starting next week face-to-face on Monday, September 14th. We cannot wait to see you, all of your beautiful faces, but there are some rules and regulations that we all have to go by in order to keep everyone safe, okay? So, firstly, parents, please remember to do self-screenings of your student every day. Make sure they don't have a temperature, make sure they are feeling well, but if they are not feeling well, if they're showing symptoms, please keep them at home, all right? Students, remember to always keep 6 feet between yourself and your peers. In certain areas, you will see social distancing signs on the ground. Make sure to use them and stay on them until you are told to move. Masks should be worn. Masks should be either solid in color or pattern, either disposable, cloth, or clear. Always keep your hands to yourself. Water fountains will be closed until further notice, so please bring a couple of water bottles for the day. Now, you will be able to fill up those water bottles, but you cannot drink from the actual water fountain. There are already hand sanitizer pumps all across the buildings, but at every entrance and exit, we will also have hand sanitizer stations. Visitors are prohibited from entering the campus until further notice. Thank you all for helping us to keep our staff and our students safe. If you have any questions about any of these rules, or if you just have any questions about anything, please feel free to call us here at the school at 469-701-1355. Our office hours for the remainder of the week is going to be 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., but starting next week, the office hours will be 7:15 a.m. to 3:45 p.m. For those of you returning on Monday, September 14th, remember to turn in your success bag, and if you borrowed a piece of technology from me, turn that in as well. I will be down in the drop-off line on Monday picking up Chromebooks, and your success bags will go to your teachers. If you have any questions about any of that, please feel free to email me at edward.perry@lifeschools.net. That's edward.perry@lifeschools.net. Parents, if your student is starting next week doing face-to-face and you need a refresher on uniforms, arrival and dismissal plans, go down in the description below and you will see the orientation video. On that video, it'll show you the arrival and dismissal plans, the traffic flow. It'll show you information about uniforms, and then it'll also show you information about what we just talked about earlier about the safety procedures for our students and staff. We're going to keep these Cardinal Connections going, especially for those of you who are going to still be on remote, okay? So with that being said, I need your help. If you want your Cardinal to be in the Cardinal Connections, go down below in the description and fill out the Cardinal Connections helper form. I'll be emailing you within the next couple of days with information on what to do and when to submit your student's video. And that's all I have for you folks. Remember that here at LSC Cardinal Connection, kids deserve it and we chirp. We are caring and helpful, we show integrity and respect, and we always stay positive. You all have a wonderful and safe week, Cardinals. And for those of you coming back next week, we'll see you Monday.